Hello, and welcome to my show, The Thriving Woman. I am your host, Carmel Austin.
Monday, another week, I can't believe I'm counting down the minutes till it's Tuesday. Another day back on.
I will be sharing keys to help you form healthy hearts and boundaries. I'll see you in the show. Hello, this is another episode of The Thriving Woman, and today it's very special. I have my dear friend Catherine with me, and instead of her actually being at her house sitting on her Zoom link, she's actually sitting with me in my office. And we've just been having some fun doing some photos together. We had a photo shoot, and my dear friend Sharon came over and we took lots of fun photos. And I think we changed 5 or 6 times, didn't we, Catherine? And I invited Catherine to come and sit in my office with me and start sharing together. So today we are talking. Catherine is one of my authors in my Courageous Voices Unlocked. And I just feel so thrilled that Catherine said yes to me. With Catherine coming into the book, I had actually asked her for a review because she is my client, because I'm a wholeness coach as well. And a few years ago, Catherine and I spent a whole 12 months together working through self-care with her. And I'm so proud of her. She has just come such a long way. But when she wrote her review, I said to her, Catherine, actually, I think you've written a story in my book. Would you like to do that? So just only a few weeks ago, a month ago or so, Catherine came into the book. And so, of course, this is pre-recorded. So when it comes out, it might be a few months later. And I have to be careful too that I end sharing with people that, here we are doing this. They are pre-recorded, they're not live. So welcome, Catherine, to my podcast show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. So, Catherine, we're chatting today about all things The Thriving Woman and all things our book. And, the process of it has just been so much fun. For me, this is my 4th co-author book, and the second one that I have produced by myself with my beautiful team. And I just love that Catherine is part of one of the authors. Our books are very special. They are co-author books, but they're not individual co-author books. Every story connects into the next one. And there's sort of a little, this is my next author and this is what they're going to be sharing about. And Catherine's story just fits in perfectly in there. So, Catherine, do you want to share a little bit with my audience about what you do in life that you really enjoy, that really gives you such great pleasure?
Well, there's quite a few things I do enjoy, Carmel. I do enjoy my music, as a lot of people know. I play in the local town band in Nowra. So I play a cornet, which is very similar to a trumpet. I enjoy that. I've been doing that maybe 25 to 30 years. I'm not really sure how long, but I've grown in confidence and I'm a lot better with that. I also play at our local church in Bomaderry as part of the music team, and sometimes in Nowra as well. So we have like another keyboard in church, and I play the trumpet or the cornet, whichever one I choose at the time. That's probably one passion I have. Another passion I have is I'm in a local choir as well with my friend Joy Sharp, and we go to different places and we sing. And I love to sing the alto because I just enjoy the harmonies. They're just beautiful. Yeah, and I really enjoy that. So I've been doing that for now 18 months, but I have been in choirs in churches on and off for years, really. Yeah. So I've really, really enjoyed that. So that's one of my passions.
You know, and it's interesting, Catherine, because I've been in lots of choirs with church and life over the years. And that's something that I really do love. I love singing. A lot of people say to me, was
Yeah.
that your voice? And I'm like, yeah, I got my mum's church voice.
Yeah.
And I like to do harmonies and altos and all them as well, because
Yes.
I love that tone that you get with a harmony where you can just come in. But, you know, Catherine's a little bit quieter than what I am. And this is the first time, you know, where we've been doing a photo shoot. For me, this is like the third or fourth time that my friend Sharon came and we done the photo shoot. But for Catherine, this is a whole new experience.
Yes.
She was very quiet when we had our coaching. And, you know, I've seen her grow into the woman that God has created her to be, with forming healthy boundaries, doing things for herself, putting things into place that, you know, as women, we need to do that. You know, this is what this whole show is about, that we are thriving women, that we are God's creation. And as women, that we have the right to be able to do self-care. We have the right to do those things that bring us joy. And so, you know, I know not just with Catherine, but with other clients, they're the things that I work on with you to help you grow in confidence, to help you say, no, that's okay. I don't have to say yes to everybody and everything. So for Catherine to actually come into our book, you know, before we went into formatting, was such a blessing, because she just wrote such a beautiful story. And I had been asking her for a while, hadn't I, Catherine? We were talking about doing a local Shellhaven book or a regional book, which we haven't got to. So these are my international books, and they just bring me so much pleasure to be able to help and coach my authors. So Catherine this is her first time that, you know, she's writing her story down, and I feel so privileged to be her friend and her coach. So as we're going along on this journey, Catherine, do you want to share with my audience a couple of the keys to the things that you have found with your self-care that you could share with the women that are listening to us that can help them?
Okay. Well, there were quite a few keys, but I think one of the things is self-care. Like whatever you're going through, whether it's a tough time or a good time, you still got to look after yourself, you know. Take time out to read a book, read the Bible if that's what you like to do, and pray. Meet up with friends, have coffee, have a lunch, go for a long walk. All those things are really important. And if you want to sit and have a movie day all day, well, then go and have one, you know, because we need to recharge our batteries. Otherwise, we can't keep loving and we can't keep caring for other people. You know, and as part of my job that I do with the disabled children, I find that I give out a lot. So I really do need to charge those batteries up, you know.
Oh, absolutely,
You know.
Catherine. I know I worked for years in disabilities and working with children in preschools in town as well. And I love to have my grandchildren over, but I'm tired when they go home, and their mum's always checking in on me going, are you okay? You know, we know that, you know, they're hard work, but for me, you know, it's a joy, but you do get tired, and you do, you know, some days I want to stay in my pajamas or watch back-to-back Netflix series, or go, you know, make sure I go for a walk with my dog. And, you know, folks, I've really been working on my self-care, as I know Catherine does. You know, she goes to the gym and, you know, she does things for her own self-care, making sure she's working on all those areas. And for me as well, I've been, you know, getting some therapy myself to, you know, get my weight back down, because I spend a lot of time sitting in front of the computer doing my business, Carmel's Garden. But I'm not happy with myself when I'm not balanced and I'm not doing those things. So, you know, those things that, these are a lot of the things that Catherine talks about in her story in our book. She talks about the challenges that she's had in life, and she talks about the things that she's going to challenge you when you read her story. So, when you buy our books, folks, I'm the lead author. And, I really thought about that at first. I was like, God, am I meant to go first? But I felt to go first because I reflect back on my first full book that I produced, which was The Artist Haven. And that was an amazing book. We went number 1 in 7 categories on Amazon. And Latrina shared her story, which we put last, but she wasn't last because her story, as we start, I reflect back on her story in our book of her as an infertility coach and her babies in heaven, like my babies are in heaven, and the journey of women who have suffered with infertility and the realities of that. We all go through something. A lot of it can be very heartfelt grief, and that we all walk through that at different seasons of our lives. So, God just has put this book together, and I'm just so thrilled this time as well. I've got Stephanie, who joined the first book, The Artist Haven, and she helped with some editing, where now she is my editor. And I've had the privilege as well with Courageous Voices Unlocked, where I painted the cover and then I created the whole cover, which has just been such a blessing. And today we've been taking lots of photos with the cover and lots of photos just having fun together and smiling together, because recently I've just lost 2 aunties who have gone to heaven, and Catherine's had her dad as well pass. So, as we mature and we grow older, we all face those situations in our lives. And, that's what these shows are for. It's about talking with you and encouraging you on your journey of life. And I know for Catherine, one of the things that she talks about in her story, as well as things that she's had to work through with me being her coach. And because, when you are a mum, and look, I'm a mum, I have grandchildren and I've raised many children in the church, but my children are growing up in heaven as well, which has been a big heartache. But I naturally mother, and when you are a mum and you've brought children into the world, you never let them go. You're always worried about them. You're always praying for them. You're always seeing what you can do to help them. So, Catherine, what are those things that you still are caring for your children and your grandchildren, but what do you do that you make sure that your tank is filled up first so that you have to give out to your family and your friends and acquaintances?
Well, I tend to be naturally a caring person. It's always been my nature, very compassionate and maybe overly compassionate sometimes. Find it a little bit hard to switch off emotionally when people are hurting, because I just feel I want to help those people, So sometimes I find that I need quiet time. I need to be by myself, doing my own thing, so I can gather all my thoughts together and, just recharge, to think about what the situation is, to pray about the situation. Because I find prayer is such a wonderful comfort. It's like even through the hard times and the good times, it's always there, God's got his hand, he's giving you peace. And it's good to have that time alone so that you can reflect and you can pray and you can build up your own faith, as well as maybe just having some relaxation time. So I find that's really, really helpful and certainly helps me.
So do you like journaling, Catherine?
I'm not great at journaling, I'll be honest. Sometimes I find it hard to be even honest with myself, how I'm feeling, because I've been brought up to hide what I feel. Put on the happy face, get on with life, So sometimes I find it hard to actually pinpoint what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling that. But lately, even with the passing of Dad, I've been able to say to people, I'm okay. Like, I'm not good, I'm not bad, I'm okay. And that means I'm coping and I'm okay. I'm sad. Of course, we're always sad. We love our parents, But the time has come and he wasn't well. He was quite sick. So really, it is such a blessing. And I know he'll be in heaven waiting for me. So it's such a nice comfort at this time, very
Yeah,
special.
absolutely. And
Mm.
I had the privilege of going to Catherine's dad's funeral, and it was an honour to be there and hear about his life. He was a dairy farmer and brought his children up and his family on a dairy farm, but he was a real investor in the community. He was part of the community and the council, and he just really had a lot of foresight with the farm. And then to see that, he still got to take him and himself and his wife traveling and doing things for themselves. And we all need to do that. My husband and I are looking forward to doing a trip next year, hoping to go to Europe together and celebrate some big things in our lives. We've got some things coming up that I really want to be able to spend that time with Wayne. I know with Catherine and I, we've talked as well about, in 2025, we're going to do a book release in our local town, and Catherine's got really excited about. We'll get some of the band that she works with and some of her singers to come along to the local library, and we'll actually be launching the Artist Haven and Courageous Voices Unlocked, because Courageous Voices Unlocked is in part of the series. And then, when I've been talking to Stephanie, my editor, and my I call her, my support team, we're talking about, the next book in this series will be about self-care. So that's something that, I'm incredibly passionate about, ladies, and, those who are listening to me, even if you're over the other side of the world, and you're not sitting in, what you see, because I know here in Australia, we live in 2% top of the world with there's not a lot of poverty here in our nation. And for me, I've got a husband who works really hard to support me, and I do other jobs as well. A lot of the things I do, I make things affordable for people to be able to work with me or write their stories in my books, and I'm there to support each one of my authors, and that's my heart. That's the nurturer and the mother in me. But I'm not, I still work, I still clean houses, and it's good. I get away from the computer, and you might say, I wear blue glasses. That's because I have Erlen syndrome, so I can't spend too much time on the computer. And and of course I'm very creative as well. If I'm doing some emails or some podcast releases, I always like to flip into Canva when I'm tired, and I can create some things in there, and then that's using my creativity. So I try and keep balance there. And even when I wake up in the morning, because I've got international authors and editors and so many people that I work with, I have to be careful that when I wake up in the morning, it's their afternoons, that I've still got to get up and do my exercise and eat and spend some time doing things for me. I like listening to praise and worship music and reading my Bible and reading some things that are going to uplift me, and sitting in my sun and walking my dog. So, I know Catherine was saying today that she likes swimming, and that's one thing that I've enjoyed as well. So, this whole process is about us moving into that place as women where we are doing self-care. We're not feeling guilty about that, but we are saying, no, it's okay. I don't need to pick up the phone to that person at this right moment. My dad was so good at that. You'd ring him, and the phone was sitting there ringing beside him, and he wouldn't pick it up if he didn't want to. And I'd ring the staff, and they'd go in and pick it up to make sure, But my dad just wasn't interested in talking on the phone, and it was okay to do that because that was his thing. But I know as women, we can stretch ourselves. We can be caring for everyone and our jobs and our home and our families. And, this whole series about the Proverbs 31 woman and moving into our authority, and I'm interviewing my authors in my book, Courageous Voices. And, the whole theme around Courageous Voices Unlocked is like moving from brokenness to freedom. And so everyone's stories in the book, they all align, and we're just so excited, that probably by the time this podcast gets published, the book will be out, and we will be, so excited about that as well. So, Catherine, share a little bit about what is it that you do now when you are feeling overwhelmed and tired that you can do for you that really helps with helping recharge your batteries?
Okay, well, one thing I do know is I love music. So putting music on, particularly brass band music, I don't know, something about brass band music. It's very stirring. But then sometimes I like the quiet music, the relaxed music, could be church or it could be classical. Love to listen to that. Sometimes I'll put on some of the more pop music and sing along and have some fun. Or sometimes I'll pick up my trumpet and I'll play some hymns out of the book, or some other favourite songs that I have. My husband and I go up to the nursing home where Dad was, and we play some jazz music for the old ones, and they just love it. We let them guess the songs, which is always a little bit of fun. So I do really like to do that, and I find that recharges my batteries so quickly, It's just lovely. And if you're playing hymns and things like that, it's like meditation time. Yeah, so even practicing music for church, which I do, I find that's a really uplifting time, and I feel really good when I've done it, And you're helping other people enjoy God and, reflecting with all that. It's one of the things I really love to do.
And that's exactly what, me as a wholeness coach and my books are about, expressing our creativity. And I know with Catherine, she's often posting about, the band have gone up for a performance, or they've got a book sale on, so because they're raising money, or around Christmas, they're down at the shopping centre and they're playing, or she's singing in her choir. And for me as her friend and her coach, it just blesses my heart that she's moved into that lifestyle with ease, and she's doing that and realizing that as she recharges her batteries and she does that self-care, she's got something to give out to others. And even when she is giving out, playing or singing, or the things that she has so much passion for. And I think that as women, we need to be reminded that it's okay. It's okay to go after your passions. It's okay to go after your dreams. When I started doing photo shoots with my girlfriend, it was in COVID, and I wasn't even going to a professional hairdresser because they were closed, and I was just doing the colour in my hair and putting on my dresses in my yard. And my friend comes around and we take photos, and I do dress changes, and we have so much fun. And that's what we did today, didn't we, Catherine?
We did. We had 5 changes that I remember.
So share with the audience about, that journey of working with me and what you've found that's been really fun. And with you stepping out, like today was the first time you did a photo shoot, today's the first time you're doing a podcast, and then first time she's going to be writing her story, and hopefully by the time this comes out, we're international best-selling authors as well, and there's so many firsts that a lot of my clients or my authors do. I still have a lot of authors like Stephanie. I think this will be her 6th book that she's writing her story in, and she's just a young mum with 3 kids, and I just honour Stephanie for her time. But for us who are in our 60s or in our late 40s or 50s, and we're going through change of life, we're going through menopause, we're going through all the changes in our body, we need to be making sure. For me, I like to put on some soaking music and spend time soaking in God's presence. I like to walk on the beach. I like to listen to a song called Take Me to the April Sun in Cuba from that. Dragon. I like to put it on when I'm cooking dinner really loud and just play it over and listen to some Dragon music, which was what I grew up on as a young girl. My neighbour had that. And I used to listen to Leo Sayer and dance around the lounge room.
And the Bee Gees.
And all those really lovely, easy to listen to songs. The words have meaning.
And they're fun.
And that's what we did today. I know Catherine was incredibly nervous, and when Sharon came, she went, "Oh, that's normally Carmel's job." But I was encouraging Catherine that, it'll be good. And we had lots of fun, and we took lots of photos, didn't we? And it was really relaxing. And, now we're doing the podcast show because I thought, look, we look so fabulous. Let's do it now. Because, I'm not only just interviewing Catherine, I've got 10 authors in this book, Courageous Voices Unlocked. And I've joined with other friends around the world with my Thriving Woman podcast show. And then I'm featuring some of them in our new magazine that's coming out this year as well. And then my book, Courageous Voices Unlocked. So life's busy, folks. But, what I want to leave you all with is, you've got to find the things that God created for you.
And then you have peace.
That's right. And then, I love to create quilts. I just downloaded for $10 this thing about learning to do some painting. Now, I know how to paint, but it'll make me go back to it because I've got all my paint gear here, all my new brushes, all my things that I brought, but I haven't been doing it. I've been illustrating my kids' book, which I started last year, and I really want to, get back into that. When my auntie passed away, my auntie Sal, I started writing some more in my own heritage book through my eyes. And then this year I updated my Thermomix as well. I've had one for 10 years. And I want to do my cookbook for my Thermomix. And then there's so many multiple things that you want to do. But the thing is, you can only do one or two things at one time.
You can.
And Catherine's working and I'm working, and we've got a home to keep and family to follow up. And, how blessed are we that we live in this incredible world where, this podcast goes out around the world, and that, we've both been through some really hard stuff the last few weeks. And I said to Catherine, come over, let's take some photos together. Folks, the best photos were when her and I were together laughing at each other and having fun. I got some places in my garden that we've really learned they're the best places. And, I've got all these cute little poses that I do, and, but it's fun. And, and it's really nice that Catherine's, here laughing, and she's writing her story in my book and our book, Courageous Voices Unlocked. And so, we just want to thank you all for tuning into this episode. And encourage you to keep on with your self-care, encouraging you to make sure you get good sleep, encouraging you to get out. I like to get off, my bottom and go walking with my dog and doing things with my husband and my family, and just completely shutting down from social media and spending time with my grandchildren or cooking something that, I really enjoy. So I want to encourage you all that, we're all on this journey, and that, when I first started out, I was nervous like Catherine as well, but it's been 3 years of me learning to be in the camera, have fun in front of the camera. And my beautiful friend Sharon, she always just makes all the photos so much fun, doesn't she?
She's a treasure.
Isn't she a treasure?
Is, yeah.
And folks, I don't know whether you know this, 3 years or more ago in COVID, I was in Sharon's office, and she was my home group leader then. And I was nearly crying, sharing with her, saying, I want to take this step on myself. I want to spend the money that I earn on myself, because I had all these dreams in my heart to write, to publish. And I had no idea I'd end up with a podcast show out of it. I had no idea that I would start doing my own co-author books. And I've always wanted to write. So I'm looking next year. Yes, we're looking at another book, another co-author book about self-care. But I want to spend some more time traveling and writing and doing my own books and getting them published as well. So I just want to leave you all with the thought of, what are your dreams? What are your goals? What are the things in your life that you've put on the top shelf, and you need to get them down and dust them off? And you need to start doing what pleases your heart, because that's what God wants for us. That's what God wants us to do. Yes, we have our children and our families to look after, but I'm so proud of Catherine that she is putting her self-care first. And what was a review turned into a beautiful chapter in our book. And just the personal contact where Catherine and I have gone to go see shows together. We've had lunch together over the years. When I lost my dad, this beautiful bunch of flowers turned up at my house from Catherine, and just the love and the friendship that has grown between us, particularly over the last few years since, when she said yes to herself. And Catherine, share a little bit with my audience about those places, because I know a lot of people think, oh no, that's too much money, I can't afford that. What is it? I know you said to me recently that why you see the value in that. Share a little bit about that.
The value in
spending your hard-earned money on yourself.
Oh yes, well it got to a point because of my background, I wasn't allowed to express myself very well. I wasn't really allowed to say what I wanted or what I needed. I had to toe the line, I guess, if you'd like to put it that way. And it took a long time, and a lot of things kept happening that were very hurtful to me. And I got to a point where I thought, this is not working. I'm trying to please everybody around me, but I'm not happy. I was really unhappy and really stressed. It was like I had enough of life. Can you just bury me under a blanket? Hope it'll all go away. So I reached out to Carmel, and I found that was really helpful. I was pretty nervous the first few times and not able to express myself very well. I still struggle with that side. Lacking in confidence has been something I've had to battle all my life. Unfortunately, things were said in my childhood which, you carry, which you've got to learn to override. You need to get some more positive self-talk into your head and say, I'm okay and I can do well and I am capable, So it takes time, and it may be something that I have to work forever and ever. But I just pray that God will give me peace and give me strength. And with Carmel's wisdom and her prayer over me, it's certainly really helped me learn. And I've had to learn, which has been really hard for me, to actually say no to things and actually take on those things that I want to do. So in order to take on what you want to do, you've got to make space in your life. So you need to learn to say no to things. And I'm not good at saying outright no. I'll just say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm really busy, or I'm just not available on that day, which might mean I really don't want to do it. So try and say it nicely so I don't hurt people,
Yes, that's right. And there's nothing wrong with doing that as well. But, there are so many things that I'm so proud of Catherine that she, that was a couple of years ago that we did that journey with her. And, she wasn't ready back then for me to even put a review up or even share with anyone that she was working with me. And I respected that. And here we are now, and we're in a book together, an international book. We've been doing photos together. We're going to do a big local launch together. And I just am so proud of her, that, and I've had to do that as well. I've had to put healthy boundaries around my time. And, and I know with my first book, I put too much of me into it and I was available too often. And I had to learn to delegate to others and realize that, all my authors have got their own life. Some of them, are already authors or they're first time authors. And, one gift that I do have is encouraging people to be themselves and be inclusive of who we are and how God made us to be. And, folks, the wisdom's not mine. It's the wisdom that God gives me. And I feel so blessed that, I get to nurture, I get to share that gift, and one of the other things I love as well as an alchemist, Catherine, we make her up a special mixture with my essential oils, which really helps with her relaxation. So there are so many keys and so many things that, I have to offer my clients. So if you're looking to rewrite your inner story without the guilt and shame, you can come on and do some personal coaching with me. Or if you want to come and join a group where I encourage you to write your story in my books, or you're wanting to write your own story with Carmel's Garden Publishing, we would love to talk to you about that and help you on that journey, because, I feel so blessed that Catherine is living proof that God is moving through the dreams and the plans in my heart. Because for 40 years I was saying, God, what about me? What about me?
Yeah.
35 years, what about me? I have all these dreams. But when I started to believe in myself and started to say, it's okay for me to have healthy boundaries around the way I feel and not be worried and responsible for other people's feelings, then I was able to do that. And look, for folks, for years I took many women into my home and cared for them. It's not like I haven't nurtured people and been a wholeness coach for years, but I spent my hard-earned cash on myself. So I would encourage you that if you are needing some help, if you are wanting to look at those places in your life, I have a quiz that you can fill out to see if you want some help in those areas. I have a couple of free ebooks, one about moving from surviving to thriving, or if you're wanting to write your own story, I have an ebook as well. So there's lots of resources that we have available for you to help you on your journey. But for now, I'm going to say thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Thriving Woman, and I will see you again in another episode. God bless for now.